Every mechanic's worst nightmare begins with two innocent words.
Customer states.
Customer states.
Customer states.
You never know what a customer is going to bring to the shop.
And today, we brought in real mechanics to break down some of the crazy stuff mechanics deal with every single day.
Oh my God!
Whoa!
This is real mechanic stuff.
All right, what we got?
That is interesting. So with a hydraulic power steering system, I'd say like, oh, okay, yeah, there's something going on with the power steering pump, but that's electric power steering.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is some kind of a computer issue, or you hit a pothole or something.
Something's
It'll throw
bent.
something off, yeah.
The electric motor in the power steering, maybe, because something has to, it's a movement sound.
What the mechanic found out is it is an issue with the electric steering column.
So we've got two different types of electric power steering where we've got an electric motor assisting down at the rack, and then the other design where we've got an electric motor assisting on the steering column itself.
Instead of power steering pump and pumping fluid through a rack and pinion, it's just an electric motor probably helping assist the power, through the column.
We are getting pretty much to systems getting close to there almost being no mechanical
I was about to
input.
ask.
Yeah, this is how the robots take over.
Sometimes the customer statement says something simple like, it just needs an inspection. But then the mechanic is thinking,
How the heck did it even make it to the shop in the first place?
oh my goodness.
Whoa.
Oh, I can see it right there.
Yeah, that's just completely disconnected.
Oh, look right there.
That's so much rust.
No, see, but
The
look,
whole subframe is disconnected.
it's disconnected. Yeah, it's not even bolted up anymore.
Jeez.
That's why we live in Southern California, where there's no rust. The subframe, which is the whole bottom half of the part that gets bolted to the body of the car, was out. The bolt was still there, but it was unbolted out of the frame. So what happened is somehow that bolt came out of the body.
I mean, you could fix those connections, but that subframe looks like it needs to be replaced. There's like holes in it.
The only way to prevent it is really try to have rust prevention. So every year you should undercoat your car. Definitely just try to keep that rust to a minimum and make sure, I guess, really torque bolts, right?
If the customer ignored this problem, what do you think would happen?
I think you wouldn't make it down the street.
They aren't going anywhere. The thing is not safe to drive in any way.
Let's see what the customer stated in this next video.
All right, fellas, check this shit out. Customer states white smoke coming out the exhaust. Check this out. Ready?
Oh,
That's cool.
is it coolant?
Well, that's a new kind of engine oil. There's no oil.
None at all.
Like it's gone.
Well, if it was transmission fluid, but I don't think it is, it's probably coolant or water of some kind. It gets past the rings and it's burning it out the tailpipe. So that's where the white smoke's gonna come from.
It's quite common that after a number of miles, that gasket does wear out. It's sealing a lot. We're asking a lot of it. So especially when we have components that are heating up, cooling down, going through these heat cycles, they do have a lifespan.
It seems like you just drained it and put some oil in it, maybe have to do it a few times and let it run and burn it all off. It might be okay if it didn't do any damage to the bearings of the motor.
Any sort of strange smokes coming out of your tailpipe, definitely get that checked out.
Yeah, get that checked out by your doctor.
Yeah.
You using the whole fist, Doc?
We got a hold of the actual work order from this next clip, and it reads,
Customer states, I went to a rave and the rave came home with me.
oh,
You got some blinking lights.
flashing lights, every single one of them.
Oh.
Oh, right.
Is the car off? The key's on. The key's turned on. That's crazy. That's actually,
Yeah, it's off because the tach's not up. Look, the
yeah,
tach.
yeah. The car's not running, but the key is on.
Yeah.
If we're getting a Christmas tree lights on our dash, my number one check is actually the battery.
My guess is a low battery.
When our battery starts to go low, the computer starts to get drunk and it makes poor decisions and it can't determine actual problems.
And diagnosis is the hardest part usually.
Yeah. What if a wire got clipped or something?
That happens all the time too. There's all kinds of rats. I mean, rats going crazy right now.
Especially at the rave, all kind of rave rats.
Rave rats.
Okay, so our director heard from the mechanic who shot this video, and this is what he said was wrong with the car. Leaking transmission pilot bearing has seeped oil through the harness into the TCM. Probably something else I've missed.
Wow, that is a series of unfortunate events.
That's a lot.
This car was definitely not new. The sensor leaks and it goes all the way down the wiring harness into the computer. That's
Maybe everything was leaking though.
everything was probably.
They didn't use any gaskets on this bad boy.
I feel like there's a little bit of negligence on the driver because I feel like there's a few things that could have been addressed before your rave lights came on.
We're gonna have to bleep this, but the car's f***ed. This next video, the customer states his engine sounds like a video game.
Ooh.
Sounds like a popcorn machine.
Oh wow, it's like a Dr. Seuss cart.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That turbo came apart, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what that sounds like.
Turbo came apart.
You had some white smoke coming out there too, so that was interesting. Looks like maybe there's some fluid leakage happening.
There's bearings inside the impeller, and that thing's turning at like 75,000 RPM. You know, turbos turn really high at RPMs, and so it probably came apart and it was just floating around inside the housing.
According to the person we believe to be the mechanic, but have not confirmed, there's a loose charge pipe, and reaffixing the charge pipe is what made the noise go away.
Yeah, so a boost pipe or a charge pipe. So that's going to be one of the pipes coming from your compressor side of the turbocharger, that side right there. And we've got a leaking of pressure because that turbocharger is going to be building up pressure on the intake side, and that pressure is supposed to go into the intake and not be leaking out and making funny sounds like that.
So turbocharging a car is you can set the boost to some point. Boost is how much pressure you're putting back through the motor. So the higher the pressure, if the clamps weren't tight enough or all whatever, the boost will actually make the pipes come apart. The more you boost, the more you're likely to have that pipe come off. Okay. So you need to have good clamps and good couplers.
Cars are capable of doing some really weird when you least expect it. Let's see the next clip.
Customer states car came in with farting noise.
The engine's running right now, okay. Is that coming out of the gas cap? Oh, that's one of those, is that one of those capless? Yeah, yeah.
The car's farting out of its gas cap.
What do you think is happening?
With your gas cap, that cap is more than just a cap to seal off the system. It has two valves inside of it. It has a pressure relief valve and it has a vacuum valve. So as your gas level goes down, we have to be able to allow air to come in to be able to fill that space. If not, the fuel won't come out to the engine and we get a vacuum lock and your engine is going to stall. The pressure relief valve is more of like to keep damage from happening because we don't want to release those hydrocarbons or those evaporative emissions as much as possible.
So it's only at like a certain level where it's like things have already gone very wrong.
We gotta let it loose,
Okay.
yeah. So we don't shart. We fart so we don't shart.
Well said.
That pump is probably going off or something malfunctioning.
Yeah, because that didn't look like a gas cap style filler neck.
Yeah. So I'm guessing the pump in the evap system was malfunctioning somehow and pumping air into the system and then making a farting sound out the gas cap.
So there's no maintenance to prevent these valves from going bad. It just happens.
Just a thing that happens in this crazy modern world. Your cars are farting now. For this next clip, the customer stated, "My vehicle is possessed by Satan. Please help." Oh!
Whoa.
Oh my God! Uh-oh.
That is interesting. That's got to be a brake booster problem, right?
Yeah, definitely, right?
Oh, imagine how scary that would have been.
Oh my God.
Go to brake and it just starts
Kicking back at you?
kicking your foot back.
I've heard of self-driving, but this is ridiculous.
Satan, take the wheel.
So besides an exorcism, what are we gonna do to fix this?
It looks like the brake booster maybe have malfunctioned, and now it is self-applying the brake, so that's interesting, and it's doing it rapidly.
So this is like a semi-sized truck.
Okay, so if it is a big heavy truck, I retract what I said because their brake systems work completely different. They work on air brakes. So with the air brakes, you are running on different principles. We are using an air compressor.
If that's air pressure doing that, your leg would hurt after fighting that kind of thing when you're trying to
And it's
stop.
probably a combination of air pressure and
Hydraulic.
Maybe it is Satan's fault, maybe it's not. We don't really know yet.
There's no way to tell. But if you want to know more about trucking, it's actually quite fascinating. We have 2 videos on Real Mechanic Stuff where we talk to real truckers about life on the road. They're actually really good videos, so go check them out.
In this next clip, the customer stated that the engine was running fine at another tuner shop. Then suddenly, it seized and nobody could figure out why. Let's see if we can.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
Kind of figured out why.
Yeah, looks like he did figure it out.
That's unfortunate.
The tuner probably messed up and had the injectors open.
The ECU shorted.
Yeah.
Fuel? Yes.
Yeah. They just stayed open.
The ECU is going to give the fuel injectors the signal to turn on. If it's shorting out, it's going to say on all the time.
Do you think there's a way to catch that?
Catch it beforehand?
Yeah. No.
Find a better tuner.
If we were there with that car, I'm sure it would have been a very fast
Smell it,
smell of hydrocarbons that we would have smelled. So for there to be that much fuel in there, it only could have been that problem that happened. So something had to tell the injectors to go on for a very long period of time.
As the old saying goes, when you hear hooves, think horses, not zebras.
This next customer stated, for the past year, I've had to yank on the key at full force to get it out of the ignition.
Oh God, the pink gel.
Oh, because it's an accessory.
Whoa!
Oh, that's quite a shift knob.
Fun. This is a pretty simple problem. Paul,
In this instance, it was her pink shifter cover. The car wasn't in park. If the car's not in park, key won't come out. It's really simple. If it happened and you didn't have a shifter, the pink shifter thing that she had on there, there's a thing called a neutral safety switch. The same thing. They do go bad. If you do not have it in park or the car doesn't think it's in park, it will not release the key. So in her case, it was the pink shifter cover. In other cases, it would be a neutral safety switch bad, and it wouldn't, so you usually move the shifter around some and it will see park and then you can get it out, but have it replaced.
If that button was being held by your fluffy shift cover, then that absolutely could be the problem.
and with automatics, you have that little thing that shows where you're at, and she couldn't see it because she had a big old pink floof ball covering it up for her. So
I need to get me one of those, okay?
All right, we got one last clip to show you guys, but before we do that, Angelina, tell the people who you are and where they can find you.
My name's Angelina Alcantar. I teach automotive at Riverside City College. You can find me on Instagram at Miss A the Shop Teacher, or you can follow my really crappy YouTube channel at Miss A the Shop Teacher.
My name is Paul Meeker. I am the owner of LexTech. We are Lexus and Toyota specialists in Highland Park, California.
in this next clip, the customer states, my wife put 15 gallons of diesel in the gas tank. Mechanic states, I present to you the money fountain.
Oh!
Ah, yes.
Gas cars cannot run on diesel.
Gasoline engines utilize a spark plug to ignite an air-fuel mixture, so they are spark-ignited combustion. Diesels use compression to ignite. Usually, the customer knows what they did wrong, and the engine, if it even started, runs so horribly you couldn't drive the car, or the engine just won't run at all.
Definitely have to pull the gas tank out or somehow empty it. And then besides that, all the fuel lines and injectors might have issues down the line, but you have to try to flush all that stuff out because diesel has a lot of oil in it and might clog the injectors, and you might have a lot of issues. You're probably gonna make the spark plugs black, so you need to change those also.
There might be still some diesel in the fuel system that you'll have to run out, but put some gas in it, clean it out, and you're gonna be fine. The real damage happens when you put gasoline in a diesel vehicle. You don't ever want to do that. You would get really, really bad pre-ignition, and you could potentially melt pistons and do all kinds of internal engine damage. So don't put gas in your diesel, kids.
Like and subscribe because we have tons of great stuff and experts coming your way on this channel. This has been Real Mechanic Stuff.